Street. You're watching Your World.
We'll talk about one of your more unusual job summits, only this one wasn't featuring a president, but a governor. And it was one moderated by a TV anchor. Me. No politics, no bias, no bull. Just jobs and how to find jobs. So when New Jersey Governor Chris Christie asked if I would be interested in moderating this powwow with big-time CEOs of all political stripes to find ways to create jobs way beyond the Garden State, I said, sure, that I'd have done the same if his Democratic predecessor, John Corzine, had asked, which he did not. Wait till we show you these remarkably frank exchanges at this forum later tonight on Fox Business Network, which the governor likes to remind you if you do not get. That's right. But back to the governor and the sudden notoriety of not only what business types meet with him, but curiously what political types meet with him, like a certain hush-hush dinner Governor Christie had with one Mitt Romney.
Governor Romney had been asking for a few months to get together and talk about the future and to meet some folks here in New Jersey. And so I invited him to the governor's residence a few weeks ago to have dinner with me and some of my supporters in the state, and just talked about how he views the next couple of years in America.
He talked about running for president?
He said he was giving it some thought, but he hadn't made a final decision yet.
Did he talk, if he did, if he would have you run with him?
No, that did not come up.
At all?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Okay, so you're not going to tell me anything more about the dinner?
That's about it. I mean, it was friendly conversation. Governor Romney laying out, what he thinks the issues and the problems are in the country right now. And
do you think he's the front runner?
It's hard to tell. I think it's a very wide open field. I really do. And I don't think, first of all, no one's declared in the race yet.
Well, your friend Mitch Daniels polls well in some of these.
Listen, and Mitch has a great story to tell about what he's done in Indiana and has private sector experience from his years at Eli Lilly. And so he's got a very compelling story, as do a number of the other candidates. But I think it's really wide open right now. I wouldn't say there's any front runner.
The reason why I ask, I know you ask this all the time, Governor, so just add me to the long list. There was one political columnist who wrote, I'm sorry I forgot the name, said that you would make a more compelling case running for president in 2016. By then you would have either proven or disproven this New Jersey miracle thing. I'm sure you hope proven it. And assuming in this case, this writer was saying the president is reelected, the Republicans would flock to you.
Well, who knows? I mean, that's what, 5 years from now? I think who knows what life's going to be like 5 years from now. And I have a job to do over the next 3 years here in New Jersey to make things happen here and to continue to build the momentum we have. I have to decide whether to seek re-election in New Jersey in 2013 to another term. And if I did, would I get re-elected? There's all kinds of variables that will happen between now and then.
But do you think it makes a more compelling case to wait out to see whether you succeed here?
I don't know whether that's it or really it's, do you feel ready? And as I've said many times before, I think if you're going to run for president of the United States, you have to feel both in your mind and in your heart that you are ready. And I'm not running for president because I don't feel I'm ready.
You already have more experience now than Barack Obama did.
I understand it, and I also understand that people will say that there's great opportunity here because the field is wide open for someone like me to run, but I don't think those are the reasons you run, because you might have more experience than someone else or because there might be great political opportunity. I think the job is much too serious, and you have to look inside yourself and say, am I ready for this? And I know, believe me, I have political advisors who say to me, oh, don't say that, don't say you're not ready. But in my heart, that's what I really believe, that I'm not ready to do something like that. I don't know if I ever will be, but I know I'm not right now, and I know what I want to do right now is to be the governor of New Jersey, and I love my job, and I love doing it every day. So, it's great to be asked, and it's very flattering, but I know who I am.
What do you think of the media obsession with you?
Geez, I don't know if it's an obsession. I think there's an interest in the fact that I kind of say things very plainly. I think more than anything else that it's based on the way I say things and the things that we've accomplished so far. And we have some really concrete accomplishments. 9% decrease in state spending, real dollar over dollar, year over year state spending, a cap on property taxes, vetoing a large income tax increase, cutting corporate business taxes, all in 1 year. I think people see that you're doing these things in this economy. They're intrigued by that. And listen, I have a very plain way of speaking, and I think that people like, for once, to listen to a politician who doesn't fog them over when they're talking, but just says it as very plainly. And sometimes that might get me a little bit of trouble, but I'm happy to live with the upside.
Because I want to know why you waste your time going on MSNBC.
Listen, you know what? Everybody deserves to hear from governors across the country. No matter which network you work on. I love being on Fox. I love being with you. But I also love going on MSNBC every once in a while.
Well, what I like, you don't hold grudges with anyone.
No.
Which is interesting. Could I get a sense then of the high expectations you set, Governor, coming out like gangbusters, balancing a budget without doing the tax increases? Now you're facing something like that on steroids this second full year. Hard act to repeat, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's never easy. That's why people don't typically do it, because it's not easy, and they like to take the easy way out. We're not taking the easy way out in New Jersey anymore.
So you won't issue bonds, or you won't do any of that stuff?
Oh, no, we're not going to play games of issuing debt for operating expenses. That's been done in New Jersey before. No, we're going to do that. We're going to play it straight.
But you're risking lawsuits, right? Some of these state pensioners are saying, you go after my pension, Governor, I'm suing you.
Well, listen, get in line. Lots of people are suing me, and lots more will. When you take bold action, that's what happens. And we'll let the chips fall where they may.
What they paid in, what the state promised them, is a sacred legal right, and you can't touch it.
Well, listen, that's to be determined by courts. And one thing I know is there's an independent study done that came out a couple of months ago that said that 11 states are in danger of having their pension run out of money by 2020, and New Jersey is one of those states. So they can call it a sacred trust if they want, but if there is no money, then they'll get nothing.
Do you worry that many in your party, Governor, talk the talk on addressing, I guess, nationally what you're looking at, pensions, but let's say for the greater part of it, Medicare, Social Security, they're big issues, entitlement issues, and they're not doing it.
Oh, listen, I was very clear, and I was on your program during the campaign last fall, and I said this is put up or shut up time for the Republican Party. And we came into office, in 2009, and now congressional Republicans and other governors in 2010, saying we're going to cut spending, we're going to tackle the big issues, we're going to go after the things that are really driving huge government growth and expense. Well, we better do it. And we're doing it in New Jersey. I mean, I've laid out a plan to raise the retirement age, eliminate COLAs, increase employee contributions to make pensions more solvent, increase the amount employees pay for their health insurance to make that fund more solvent. They're very analogous to Social Security and Medicare on the federal level. We're doing the tough things that need to be done.
Does it make you anxious? I saw one of these YouTube exchanges. It popped up on YouTube, Governor. I think with a policeman who was saying that he can't afford, because you put a 2% cap on increases, he can't afford what you're telling him to kick in for health care. And I think you said something about, well, that's what we all do, find a way.
We're going to make choices.
But he's a policeman.
Yeah.
Any angst there?
No. He's a public employee, and I honor what police officers do. I do, and I honor the fact that they put their lives on the line to keep us safe. But that does not mean that we can set up two classes of people in New Jersey, those who get big benefits and those who pay for them. And what I was saying to that police officer that day was, I understand you're upset, and I don't like being the guy who comes here when the party's over, but the party's over. And so maybe it means you don't get the Cadillac plan that costs $24,000 a year if you're being asked to pay 30% of the cost and then you can't afford the $8,000. Maybe it means you get a less expensive health plan that's $16,000 a year, and maybe then you can afford 1/3 of that. But we can't afford it anymore. The taxpayers in New Jersey can't afford it anymore.
Governor, on health care,